Hello fans of Marvel Heroes and friends of my channel. Welcome to another episode of Q&A. I play the game answering some of your questions. My name is Wilfred, and if you like this video, check out the link at the description of the video. There's a whole lot more guides and videos for you to watch for this game, Marvel Heroes. Now, this is rather special episode because I'd like to answer some of the questions to those who may not have been with this game for a while but make a return thanks to all these wonderful events we have lately. And also for some of you who are brand new as well, there's some question on that. And yeah, also for the veterans, some of you have been playing this game like me for quite some time, what is to come and so on. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things here. Now, there are quite a number of questions submitted by some of you who may have left the game for quite some time. And you may find that, wow, the game has changed so much, but I don't really want to read all these patch notes to understand what has changed in the past. So it's more like a history of what happened in the past, like, 1-2 years. I'm just condense it a little bit, maybe entertaining for the veterans. Feel free to add some of those I may have missed out in this video in the comment box below. We have a wonderful community in this channel. And also, there's some question on how I feel about basic power, how to make it more fun. I think I may want to address that as well. And for those brand new player, what are the, as you level up, you probably have a lot of items and you do not know which one to take, which ones not. So I would like to address that a little bit. So a little bit for everybody. And if you have watched my video previously, the Q&A on the blessing change based on test center or subjected to change, of course, I talk about the next step is to build an inventory of what you envisage your allocation for each type of blessing will be. So what I've done is that, forget about this pie chart here. What I've done is I look into because blessing and legendary are hand in hand. They consume OD marks. So it is single resource, and you have to think about which one to invest in. And also, legendary, they are grade 70 legendary and grade 80 legendary. And grade 70 legendary, you are probably having like a 7% performance dip from an grade 80 legendary. Does it really matter to you? I don't know, because sometimes a hero could be very strong anyway. Does it really matter whether I'm using a 70 or 80? If I can get by a lot of content with my grade 70 legendary, do I want to pay extra 700 OD mark for the grade 80? So it's a lot of question, of course. And I'd like to sort of like look into how many of my heroes can use Power Cosmic, because to me Power Cosmic can be exchanged using World Stone instead of OD mark. These are free legendary. I will take it anytime because it is actually as good as a grade 80 according to Gazillion developers. I'm quoting them saying that although Power Cosmic is being labeled as a grade 70, but it is performing as decent as a grade 80. I will not argue on that. I would say, well, it's somewhere in between. It's like a 7. It's not 70, it's not 80, but more like a 75. So I know roughly 70% of the heroes out there I would need to purchase either a grade 80 or grade 70 legendary. Grade 70 legendary can be fully refunded, while grade 80 cannot. So always have to think about your strategy, how many of those you want to keep your inventory. You can pass them around, so inventory management is very important in this game. So I look into the trending and direction of the blessing. In this old world, Hela is the blessing that everybody would aim for at end game. Nothing wrong with that. Just just one of those things in life. Why Gem of the Curse is so highly sought after? There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with Gem of the Curse. People use it for every single build, right? So they are going to break blessing down into the different kind of types there. So from what I see things like you can have a pure melee kind of like blessing, pure range kind of blessing. If you are melee range kind of mix of blessing, summoner will have their own blessing, movement have their own blessing, and generic is like another Hela kind of thing. And because of the Hela now, instead of percentage based to brutal strike chance, now become a brutal strike rating and brutal damage rating. It would not be that beneficial to say the summoners, because the summons, the pets, do not benefit from the brutal damage rating. Only a brutal damage rating, yeah. Only the brutal strike rating, which is a shame. So now you have to think about what I can do. So the percentage breakdown there is just for you to understand. All in all, if you are playing multiple heroes, you expect half of it will probably benefit from a generic type of blessing, which is like the Hela, and then you may want to dedicate 15% between the pure melee and pure range, and also the you have a mix between melee range as well, another so it's 15, 12 percentage, a bit of it on summoner. But then I also look into the blessing design, again, all subjected to change. So I'm not going to put my money on the table right now. But I would say that I would not purchase pure range kind of blessing, because I think one of the proc. I'm not really a big fan of proc, because you never know how the game really work behind the scene. Whether those proc are real proc, how does it proc? Does it really, when mobs are not targeting you, how does it really know or whatnot? So I'm not going to purchase the pure range one. As far as melee and range concern, again, it's a proc. I do not know whether there's any internal cooldown coefficient or whatnot. So I would likely to, because the difference between melee range kind of like a blessing from my calculation so far is not too far off from a generic one. So I'll just relegate everything to generic. But summoner, I presume I'll get some summoner. So what I've done is that right now in my inventory, I have 128 blessing, or Hela, or a bit of Hela, and the Frigga, I think, this summoner. So I need to proportionate that across some of these charts here to understand on the day it comes when we can, I believe that we will be able to exchange our existing blessing into the new type of blessing. So I would say, maybe I have 2 sets of 8 kind of blessing for summoners, and then maybe 4 sets for the pure melee, and the rest of it just remain as Hela. But like I say, it's all subjected to change. I have 128, but if Odinmar is not a concern for you, because some of you play really hard, then it doesn't really matter. You can actually mix and match and maximize all your heroes, existing ones. But for me, my strategy moving forward would still be transfer blessing, because it's very fluid, this kind of game. It always changes. I don't have full confidence that whatever I invest in it, things that I cannot refund is the one that I really want to think through and do not want to commit myself 100%. So that's why grade 80 legendary, in my guide, I never really got into it because it's not fully refund. So anyway, that's part 1 of the video, and now let's play some games here. So by the way, this is Cosmic Patrol on the Hightown Patrol. So some of you may be new to this game or have not been with this game for a while, be wondering, whoa, what is this? It's one of the harder patrol zone, and now there aren't many people around, so I'm actually a bit worried playing a Hawkeye with this, but we'll see how it goes. And I'm playing Hawkeye, and I'm rather happy that I finally got the last piece of unique, which is the Sinister unique, and got my 3, 2 and 3 kind of like a title to it. So I'm rather happy. So now let's talk about the let's talk about game right now, right? There's some bosses around. Okay, that boss is gone. Let me just go down there. So some of you, like some of my friends, may not have been with this game for quite some time. In the last couple of year, you haven't been around, and because this game has been around for a while already, so you may be wondering what happened to this game. And there's a lot of things that happened in this game, and the first thing first is that I think in the past you have something called the Recon device for you to reset the power and omega point and so on, but now you don't need to do that anymore because you are free to experiment what you want. So it is a very welcoming change. So you may be wondering, what happened to my Recon device and so on? Yeah, you don't need that anymore. So that is good news for you. And the another thing is that there's a lot of visual update these days. So a lot of heroes like Emma Frost, like Captain America, they all have the default costume being reset, redesigned in some way. So that is also a very good news for a lot of you who has been playing this game and find that the default costume just doesn't resemble the heroes that you are playing. So yeah, you don't have that problem anymore. Gazillion is sort of actively doing that as well. All right. So now, in terms of the game-wise, let me just loot something here. In terms of game-wise, there are the patrol zone. I think some of you may be familiar with the Midtown Manhattan. I think in some way it was a very popular kind of like, you know, in some way it was a very popular kind of place. I think at some point in time I was just going there all the time to play all my heroes. But now there are multiple kind of like plateau zone. There is the Industrial City Patrol, which is not that popular because that place is pretty huge for you to even walk around to get stuff and so on. So it was nice, and when it first came out, but at the end of the day, they realized the reward is not really proportionate with the effort put in, so not many people really played the Industrial Patrol Zone. So I think Guardian learned something and realized that, well, okay, this bunch of people just want it easier and whatnot. So, well, no, I didn't say that. In the end, they have something called the Hightown Patrol Zone, which I think is a major success in some way. It's so successful that, guess what? I end up just playing. I mean, people ask me, what is Marvel Heroes? I say, well, this is Marvel Hero, right? Wow, hang on a sec. So, it becomes, whenever I think where should I go today, and I'll say, yeah, maybe Hightown Patrol, because that is the only place that you can get really decent gear. And what kind of gear are we talking about here? It's the gear that you get a +1 challenge point. I don't know how many of you have not been around for a while and not familiar with what am I talking about here. It's the extra things that below +1 durability challenge bonus. So this is the only place whereby you can get the challenge bonus unique. So you could farm unique. You could farm unique anywhere you like. Really doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, you probably wouldn't want to waste your time farming unique and then realize that, oops, I need to farm it again in Hightown Patrol. So I would just say skip all the rest of the patrol, even for Monday kind of like madness. There's really no point for me to get any unique without the challenge point. You could always say that, well, I mean, challenge point can be added by other vendor and so on, crafting and so on, but I don't want to subject myself to farming for extra currency. So I prefer to just farm here, and it has a lot of like good stuff as well, because nowadays everything is world drop. So for those of you in the past, you probably be familiar that you need to go to Curse Terminal all the time to farm certain things. Well, I mean, you could still do the same thing, but now become world drop. Not that I've seen a Jump the Curse drop in Hightown Patrol so far, but you don't have to farm the terminal again and again just to look for something. If you keep playing high end game content, some of these artifacts will drop, some of these boss unique will drop. So there's some very welcoming changes as well. So not sure whether it's a plus or minus. I think it's more a plus. You're not being forced to just farm certain kind of like boss or unique just to boss or terminal just to get certain artifact or unique and so on. So that is one. Let me just get rid of this one as well. And also, if you realize, I don't know how some of you may be able to relate, is that in the past unique drop very rarely. I could play like half an like a whole week of Marvel Heroes and in X Defense, and I would just end up with the that's Ultimate, by the way, by Hawkeye. Oops. Okay. So I could play a week of Marvel Heroes and X Defense. I may get one unique somehow, so those were the day. But now, no, I mean, every wave like this one, you see another unique there. So it is called the Age of Reigning unique. You can get a lot of unique just by camping here, and you can understand why I like to camp here. And also, it has a lot of very good stuff as well. Nowadays, the loot here are so much better. You have all this well, this one is no good, but you have a lot of cores and stuff like that. So people ask me, the new player ask me where to farm this, where to farm that. Well, I say, come to the end game content, and that's where you farm all these wonderful stuffs. So now it makes it very easy to farm stuff like anything that you prefer to farm. You can farm it rather easily. Last time was quite a pain, and now it's not that bad. So there's some improvement here and there in the game, and it's definitely one of those improvements. And another unique come by. So as you can imagine, that become a very, very handy thing. But then on the other hand, nowadays a unique compared to the last time has a lot more affixes. So it will require a lot more unique just to get to. Oh, I missed the boss. You will require a lot more unique just to get a perfect hard roll, because there's so many. You see how many affixes are there? Can you count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 plus the challenge point, right? So 13 affixes. Those of you who know mathematics, 13 affixes, if you want 90% of each affixes, how rare would that be? So, well, on the surface, they increase a lot of like a number, it drop a lot more, the unique, but also a lot harder to get the high roll unique. So just take it as it is. I mean, you see unique, but you also doesn't mean that you'll get a lot of good unique. So yeah, that is what it is. And yeah, let me just focus a little bit here, because it's always a bit dicey here. A lot of like things that can kill Hawkeye. Hawkeye is still one of the underwhelming heroes. I think he's all right, and with the soon to be Hela kind of change, he will be one of those heroes that get affected a lot because of the fact that his passive is a lot on the crit and brutal, and with the Hela kind of thing changes, it's not going to be too kind for him. So that is it. And and also depends on when you have left the game and so on. The story, chapter 10 has been out, and chapter 10 is wonderful. I strongly recommend you to play through chapter 10 for every single hero. And I do it for every single hero actually. There's a lot of very good goodies around it. So I would strongly recommend you check out chapter 10. The story is beautiful, and the reward is wonderful as well. So that's something that you would like to also pay attention to. Chapter story 10 or chapter storyline. If you are really that haven't been with this game for a while, then maybe chapter 9 also something that you should check out as well. It's Asgard. So one is Asgard, the other one is Scroll Invasion, all with different kind of things like this. So it's nice. And of course, some of you who were in the old days, you probably understand that a lot of heroes are just designed up to level 30, and all their powers is up to level 30. That's all. You can unlock all the power at level 30. But with the recent change, well, it's not that recent. Everything become a 52. Progression with the signature power and so on and so forth. Now, what it really means is that those were the past already. All the heroes that using the old design, Deadpool being the last of them, has already been reworked, and now all the heroes come with all signature and stuff like that. You require 52 level to unlock all the powers. But now we enter a new age called Age of Specialization. So if you are a hero whereby like me do not have a specialization, then it's a little bit data design. All the newer heroes, most of them will have specialization. And so now we've left the Age of 52 review, and we enter the age of a specialization. All right, so that is yet another brief history of Marvel heroes. And as always, I was about to say this, hang on a sec. Okay, there's 3 bosses wave. I think, do you think I can get rid of this guy first? Let me see. Very hard to say though, because I just got a new legendary for level 80 legendary from the event, and sort of maybe I should give it to Hawkeye and see how that goes. But okay, let's see. I have to keep an eye here, because there's 3 boss wave that usually is more profitable to go there. So it's a little bit of strategy playing this Hightown patrol right now. You have to be confident that you can get to the place fast enough. Like now, you have to go and rush off already. All right, so just nearby anyway. So teleport heroes still well sought after, by the way, for those of you who, oops, I overshot. Yeah. Okay, let's see what the situation is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's drop a signature. Okay, so that's neat. Wow, get attacked by this stuff here. So I mean, this I think this patrol zone is at the right place. I mean, it has enough challenge. The map is not that crazy. Last time they used to have some underground kind of objective. Now they remove it, which I think is a good move in some sense. Because who like loading screen? I don't like loading screen. So it's one of those things that they've done really nice for this one. And I play nothing but Hightown these days anyway. But I'll talk about the rest of it. And also now well, I know it's kind of old news, but also worth mentioning is that this game is turning into an event-driven game. So I think, you know, a lot of time when you try to play all these ARPG, you need some variety. So event helps to break the monotony of just farming the same thing again and again and again. And so there are multiple events. The older one is the armor event. That one gives you the core as well as some of these artifacts as well. Then the cosmic chaos event, which is more on the the boss double drop and some of this world stone currency that you are able to exchange for the hybrid gear and so on. So those are very neat as well. And we also have the Omega event that help you with the Omega, kind of like if those of you who are still leveling the Omega system, now Omega system cap is raised to 10,000 by the way, then that is yet another thing that another event that's good. Odin event, there's a rotation to it and help you get some Odin mark. Odin mark is always very welcoming. And on top of that, there are something called the Mystic Mayhem, which is more like the old in the old day we have Limbo, and now we made the Limbo, and there's a chance to drop free grade 80 legendary, which so far I only have managed to get one. It's not really that frequent. I hope they actually do it a little bit more generous on the event. And then they have the brand new one, the King County, which is the one in Industrial City Patrol. Also nice, I mean decent. Because one thing great about Industrial City Patrol is the ring. The ring is very nice. The Industrial City Patrol ring for the pure kind of like heroes or range or melee heroes. Those are very, very nice stuff. So I'm happy to be able to sort of like get some ring there as well. So that is also something very nice. Oh, I got not enough spirit. Poor Hawkeye. It's like I keep firing. I forgot that I'm still playing a data hero here because I try to do something different and not to just play the latest hero like Ultron, which I did by the way. Try to showcase to you some other heroes as well. Otherwise, the game looks a bit not so fun. Just playing the same heroes all the time. So otherwise, I'll be using magic. In reality, I would. Okay, so that is there are a lot of other events as well. I think those of you who has just joined the game, you probably can relate to this Civil War event. I think it's one of those wonderful events. A bit tiring though. I think this whole 2 months of playing Civil War and the anniversary is really taking a toll on the whole thing. But I still enjoy it. I mean, I think looking back, there's a lot of good loot and a lot of people get a lot out from it. But yeah, I mean, so there are a lot of events there. So do check out some of these events for the returning kind of like players, new players as well. And there's raid. Raid in this game is always I think it's a little bit of a hit and miss kind of thing in some sense. I do like the new raid. So there are two types. One is the Sutur raid. The other one is the Access raid. So they have higher difficulty, lower difficulty, and so on. I think Ray has a lot of potential, but after a while, I don't know. I don't really feel incentivized to do too many of those raids. Maybe for a title, I don't know, something like that. So do check them out as well. And raid, of course, drops something called the boss unit, and you can craft it these days. So that is also very, very welcoming. So that is one. And do check out the hubs as well. You may want to look at the waypoint and look at there's a hub there. And you should be able to see something that is quite different. It's called the Hammer Bay. Inside there's something like a reputation system. Check them out and make sure you do the dailies and so on and so forth. There's a lot of grade 80 legendaries unlocked via that way. So that's something for you to think about. Of course, there's also something called a danger room. Now I do not know whether danger room is a success or failure. It's very hard to say. It depends on who you talk to. As someone who built Guy is alright because it always make good video to go to the danger room because it is rather hard. It's not easy. The danger room. And I do find it rather challenging sometimes, depending on hero himself herself. And I find it quite a good way to demonstrate not just DPS but also survivability. But the problem with danger room, by the way, you can go to hub and you can see one of those under hub is danger room for level 60 content only. But the problem with danger room is always the reward itself. I mean, I have quite a lot of currency, but I just can't spend it because I can't get a good roll when it comes to the danger room rings. The rings are there very nice, so I highly recommend take a look at that. But just keep re-rolling the vendor until you see some very nice ring, and after that, then you farm some currency to it. So there's a lot more currency right now. You can check out all this currency, like Worldstone is for the Cosmic Chaos event, buying the hybrid item. Armor event is for some of these, like, you check out the vendor at the Avenger Tower or bigger as well, And these are the commendation. I got video for all this stuff, by the way. Is from the share quest rating for you to get some really like good recipes as well. And this one of PvP. Who PvP in this game? I don't know. I don't. And then after that you have danger rooms merit that I don't seem to be able to find a mean to spend them. All right, so that is the one. And also for some of you who has been with this game for a while or left this game for quite some time, you probably would like to check out. There are 2 terminals right now: the Scroll Invasion, the last one, and then after that you have the Times Square. Now, Scroll Invasion is all right, but I feel that the Times Square is one of the really nicely made one. I think it's probably one of the best. They've done on the from the terminal wise, because there's some elevation here and there. It's not as maintained as not as boring like as one shot story, because I think one shot story is fine, but all these objectives just make it like it break the whole thing, and it's keep loading screen kind of thing. So I don't really fancy that, but I think they've done it really well for the Times Square. I hope that there are more terminals like that, like Times Square. But do check it out if you just come back to a game and wondering what to do next. Do check out the that one, the Times Square is very nice. And the I think in a sense that is very much like a lot of like condensed version of what happened to this game, and it depends on again when have you left the game or so on. There's something called the damage reduction now. The defense dodge and deflect has been reworked now. I've got a video again on how to make your hero strong using all these like damage reduction gear and so on and so forth. But all in all, is these stats here. Forget about this too. Sometimes it can be quite misleading, all these things, because it all depends on the hero as well. But do pay attention to something called the defense, deflect, and dodge. These are diminishing return. And the explanation is there very clearly on how this all contribute to the total defense reduction. So if you're playing the Diablo kind of world, you are familiar with something called all resist, or whatever resist here and there and here and there. While in this game we break all resist into multiple components to it that contribute to something called the defense rating, which to me it is, or damage reduction, or no, defense rating, which is the all resist. So just read up a little bit more on this one. I'm not going to talk about that, so otherwise my video would be too long. As for the I think some of you may have seen a lot of runes as well dropping in this game. Runes by and large are pretty useful. They can use it for the rune words, can use it for a lot of things as well, and for enchanting and stuff like that. But I would say, you probably would need to dedicate one single rune stash just to collect runes. Now, why do I say that? Sometimes, if you want a certain rune words, and what do I mean by that is that, if you want a certain rune word, like this one here, a certain thing like you want the 1, 2, 3 of them, the 3 runes, it's actually very, very hard to farm them if you need it. You can spend a lot of days trying to find that one rune and never drop. What you do? Versus if, as and when it drop, you collect it and save it somewhere. Now, it is very unfortunate that you require one single stash just to play this game. You could also say that, well, I'm not into paying for a stash. I just want to pay for free. Then you will need to be quite well versed as in like which rune are used for, which rune to keep and so on. Now, but in order to do that, again, you have to really know which rune are good. So you have to experience it, and in order to experience it, you have to have a stash full of runes to know which one is useful and which one is not. And so at the end of the day, I think you still need to spend some money to just buy one of the stash for the runes. That would be my advice to you. And as for the unique, nowadays you have a lot of unique that is either for the heroes or for any heroes. Now no one uses any hero unique anymore except it is a boss unique. Like for example, like this type here, Slab of Subterranea. I mean, in the past I still use it for Cosmic Gate when I can't farm for unique, but now unique so easy to get, so why bother, right? So you can collect all these unique and exchange for many things. You can exchange for runes if you so wish to, exchange for relics if you so wish to, exchange for credit chests like this one if so wish to. Credit cap has been increased from 3 million to 10 million due to a popular request, and on top of that you can collect all these like a chest, credit chest to make you even more richer. And believe me, it's very useful. I think I have already 500 million in my bank right now. Yeah, not in real life, don't rob me, but in the stash. So then I've got however much of it because a lot of crafting require credit. Though something that's a lot of things you can buy in this game, but a lot of things you can't. So credit is one of those you can't buy in this game. All right. And there are quite a few game mode that has already been oscillated. So I tell you what, I mean, this is a real kind of scenario, right? This is real life example. I've got a friend who hasn't been playing this game for a while, so he came back in. You know what he's done? The first thing he did was to play X Defense. I said, dude, no one play X Defense anymore in this game. And then he said, yeah, how come I spent 1 hour queuing and couldn't get into playing X Defense? And just no. So there are actually games. Last time in the past, X Defense was very popular. People use it to level up their heroes because that's what they do. Now you just come to a Hightown patrol. That's what I do, and to level up heroes, and you get all the good unique along the way. So you don't need to queue up. You don't need to play X Defense anymore. So now, of course, X Defense is not the only one that has been left in the dust. I think Hollow Sim is also like somewhat no one really play Hollow Sim anymore, unless you are playing for the event. But even so, at a higher Omega level, those Omega Orbs or Omega chests that you get doesn't even move the meter much. I mean, you may as well go to Cosmic Hightown to get more experience point than the Omega event that rewards you Omega Orbs for playing 5 waves of Hollow Sim, which I think is a total waste of time anyway. So you could actually watch TV, AFKs, fail the whole thing, and after that you gain 1 wave, do it 5 times, you get 5 waves. So you can do AFK farming here. So that is all. I think in the horizon, right? In the horizon, what is going to happen to this game is I talk about blessing. The blessing change is upcoming. It's something that I personally not really fancy because I always feel that at the end of the day people always find out what is the best anyway. I mean, like even grade 80 legendary, a lot of people complain about I have to pick Gunir as my grade 70 legendary. I have to do this. Can I do something different? Well, the reality is that grade 80 legendary being designed differently. But guess what? If you're a physical hero, most of them you still pick an axe. If you play a mental hero, most of them, if not all, you pick a Warlock Eye. So where is diversity, right? The diversity to me should change the way I play the game. It should change my build, right? Gear, it shouldn't be just stats to me. So choices like legendary doesn't change the way that I play this game. So what is the whole fuss about picking, having variety or diversify the whole thing? That was just my personal view. My personal view seldom matter anyway. What is also coming up is the comeback, dynamic comeback level that is already in test center. I haven't really got a chance to look into it, but what it really means, it's a good thing, by the way. So for some of you who has been, I have been asking for it for years. So sometimes when you play this game, you go in the zone. You try to play with your friend, you can't because they are not at your level, and you go into the patrol zone, you can't because you are not allowed to go in. Or you go story mode, you are high level and you go in and kill everything one shot. You try to get some quests done, but you can't. Like when the story first came out, when they compressed the 3 story difficulties into 1. By the way, now the objectives are being rewarded by doing it once. But by doing that, I can't even get some of these quests done because I'm level 60 are camping at the level 10 area to farm achievement, and it's never nice. I mean, in the end, I ended up giving up on completing all this achievement because it's just a waste of time trying to compete with the level 60 on the level 10 zone. So now they'll change it. It will be level appropriate. But one side effect is also they will make the terminal bosses health go up. So with that said, I would say do what you can. I mean, if you need to farm something like me, for example, like this thing here, I'll just farm it right now. You know, I don't wait for till the end of time to do it. And the and what else are there right now? I think there's also the global difficulty setting. Yeah, I mean, I've seen it before. It looks pretty hard, but I think just for some tuning. So there's quite a few things along, you know, coming up soon in this game. There's a lot of good stuff coming in this game. All right, so I think with that said, let me just quickly wrap up this video with the other couple questions from the new players and so on. So now, I think that there's some question on the. Let me do an ultimate here. I think I love the Hawkeye ultimate. Come on, man, this is the one. Yeah, with the A there for Avenger. So now let's move on. Different topic here. I think some of you asked my opinion about the basic power and so on. You know what? I actually feel that the basic power probably, you know, there's some really interesting kind of like basic power that I never get to use once I level up. For example, things like the ricochet from Cyclops and so on. So in a way, you know, unlike other MMO, ARPG or whatnot, some other games use a basic power to regenerate resource for other things that you do. But because of the how the whole spirit regen work is that it will actually pause your spirit regen, and it's not that interesting when it comes to the whole gameplay. You can't really. If you try to have a cycle using the basic power to regenerate resource and so on, I wouldn't call it fun to do it in this game. But of course, there's some exception to it. There are some heroes that would have a basic power, like the I think Daredevil use a basic power. Luke Cage use a basic power. By and large, I think Moon Knight also. Although my build is not a basic power build, but I think a lot of people actually use a basic power for Moon Knight. And the what else? Then you have the Wolverine and X-23 have to use a basic power as well. I believe Vision also have some sort of basic power, and so on and so forth. So you know, in a way, there are some variety out there whereby you have to use a basic power. So they don't really mandate all the heroes to use. And of course, you are playing like Deadpool and so on. There's no such thing as basic power because, like, you know, he's so awesome, he doesn't even use resource. Or you play Hulk, he doesn't have any resource to it, he generate anger. So, you know, the power that he use just like, you know, just everything, just don't consume anything. It's just the more angry he is, the harder he become, harder hitting he become. The problem is that in this game, Hulk feel like paper. So, you know what, I probably would like to do a video on Hulk one of these days just to see how to make him a little bit more playable in endgame. But anyway, different story here. Always divert. Yeah. So what do I think about it? I think that you know, we should always be able to fire off a power, even when you have no spirit, because you know it's just to keep the game going. But of course, you have lesser kind of like, you know, damage output. So what it really means is that, you know, what if there is no such thing as basic power? It's just that if you run out of spirit, you get, you know, your power get decreased. And I think this is not, I mean, it's not a new idea. There's some hero that does that is something like that as well. So I don't know. In a way, I do wish that this game has a bit less reliant on the. I think, you know, to look at this, you have to look at holistic manner, right? You know, this game is good to have a less reliant on medkit on spirit regen. Like for instance, you can't play it without the medkit core, and you have to keep eating medkit even though you have full health. The medkit become like a battery to recharge your spirit. I think every hero should have a very fluid way to regen spirit by clever using of certain power combo. Then I think some of these powers should, whether it's basic or not, like even I think the Taskmaster, I actually quite like the .45 caliber or whatnot, you call it like handgun kind of thing, but I can't. Those are basic powers. So I do wish that I could use basic power in a more meaningful way. But I think looking at this game, I think they have a lot of problem to try to resolve already. They are trying to revamp the whole blessing kind of thing, and I don't know how many they can do. Maybe in year 2000, I don't know, 20, they may look into something like that. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, but that's just my view on the on that. All right. So now the next question on if you are a new player, leveling, what to pick up, what not. I totally get you. Whenever I play a new MMO, I always have like this question: what shall I pick up? I would say that if you are still leveling, whatever you pick up, most of the thing you pick up, even if you sold it by mistake, it's really no big deal. Really no big deal. You don't need to sweat over it and lose sleep over it. There are things like relics, there are things like runes that I would say, yeah, I mean those are good. That if you can collect them as you level up, I would suggest you do that. Things like these crafting material, grab some while you're leveling up. It's fine because now it stack up to 1,000 anyway. So do that. Don't worry about it. You probably need some inventory to get it sorted, but I hope you have played this event and there's some free stash and so on that you have collected. If not, then you probably need to invest in some of those things. But I think by and large, whatever you collect, you can safely donate it to your vendor if you are still leveling your crafter. Many people ask me what's the best way to level the crafter. My answer is always donate what you don't need to the crafter. And also, how am I going to collect this thing, right? Seriously, guys. I don't get it, man. It's like, I have to go from here, is it? This poor guy also cannot get his unique, not just me. Right, hang on a sec. Let me just. Okay, so that's done. So, all those things in this game. This game is so weird. Yeah. So once you level up your crafter to I think rank 16. That's what I was told, and you are able to exchange your duplicated unique into credit chest, and do that because credit chest has a lot of XP to it, and you can actually level up a lot of like vendor, enchanter after you are able to do that. So do exchange one of those things if you can afford it. Right. So I hope that gives you some idea of what to pick up and so on while you're leveling. Now of course there's some event currency and so on that is good to level, but I think by and large, don't sweat over it. Whatever that you have collected during leveling, probably not useful. Now, artifact is another thing though. When you reach level 50 and above, when you see artifact, just pay attention to the level requirement. Those that seems to be quite high in level requirement and looks quite good with things like plus strength, plus energy, plus fighting, or crit damage rating, and brutal whatnot. Please just keep it first, because those are likely to be good stuff. You need good artifacts, so do equip them and don't just throw everything away. I think by and large, I think that is all, man. Don't need to worry too much about it. Even if you make a mistake, it's not really a big deal. I mean, I mean, if you have friends, they can always help you out a little bit on some of these basic artifacts. They may have stored up quite a few while they are playing and leveling. All right, so that. I hope that gives you some idea of I hope this video has something for everybody, and as always, drop me a note below and connect to me through Steam or YouTube and so on. I'm always very happy to answer some of your questions if I can afford time. Sometimes my chat is closed and I may miss your message, but rest assured I read them. So the best is still drop me a message in YouTube. I mean, in the video itself, I always try to answer that. All right, so enjoy, and yeah, it's July already. Time flies. All right, bye.